Like people, businesses have their journey, their path, sometimes straight, but more often evolving, growing, and adapting to a changing world, creating the need for knowledge in areas like accounting, consulting, tax, technology, areas critical to your continued growth and success. All part of the journey, all part of what we do together with you. Because your success is the destination. MNP, wherever business takes you.
We all need Canada's youth to succeed. We need youth to help design drones to put out forest fires and ensure artificial intelligence doesn't outsmart us all. We need youth to help cure the diseases we don't even know exist yet.
We need new skills
for a completely new job force.
But we're not prepared.
That's why RBC created Future Launch, to empower Canadian youth for the jobs of tomorrow.
Welcome to Python's Pit.
Whoa, that was a close one there, buddy. Hey Pythons, how long have you lived in Canada, and how many harsh winters have you seen where you fear you or one of your loved ones getting hurt? Well, this is true in my case for sure. In 2015, my grandparents came to Canada for the first time. Being unaware of the dangers of walking on an icy pathway, my grandfather slipped and fell. Luckily, I was thereby to assist him in getting up. But this had me thinking, if I had not been there, he could have been laying down on that deserted pathway for several minutes, unable to get up, unable to get help. And this is when I thought of this revolutionary new product, the SmartBoot.
SmartBoot is an innovative product in the growing wearable tech industry that optimizes safety and autonomy while using new emerging technology. So what do we have to offer? SmartBoot is equipped with a pulse detector and motion sensor that detects the movement of the user. And if the user happens to slip and fall, the SmartBoot enables emergency system via Bluetooth and emergency button for calling 911. But how many people actually experience injuries from falling?
Great question. On average, over 20,000 Canadians each year visit an emergency department for injuries related to snow and ice. And this number is constantly growing.
Whoa, that explains the gravity of this problem. So the manufacturing price for the SmartBoot while analyzing cost is $50 per unit. And we're going to mark this up by 300%, retailing at $200 per unit. In the first quarter alone, we project to sell 100 pairs of shoes and expect $20,000 in revenue. By year one, we expect this to grow to $80,000 in revenue. So what do we as a partnership bring to the table? Our dynamic duo has the ability and skills to manage this business well. My partner is on the marketing and sales part of the business, whereas I handle the financial and technological aspects. The SmartBoot is currently the only solution on the market that optimizes a well-known winter clothing accessory, snow boots, and adds a unique technological feature that will work in any emergency situation. Comparing this to relatable devices, SmartBoot improves autonomy, safety, is priced modestly, and has a low risk of failure.
All right, it's my turn. Let's talk about the design of the shoe. The SmartBoot Model X is a sleek, stylish, and comfortable pair of shoes. It is designed to be worn as unisex and without telling people that, hey, look at me, I'm wearing a safety product. This is one of the things that sets us apart from our competition. The SmartBoot has also been well received by the public and elderly folks we asked during our market research, via going to local churches and asking senior citizens we knew. If we were to win the $5,000 today, we would use that money to help us file a patent and improve the hardware and software of the boot itself. So Pythons, who's ready to join us in making traveling easier for thousands of Canadians like my grandfather while promoting safety, autonomy, and encouraging new travel experiences? Don't let this opportunity slip out of your hands.
So thank you for joining us, Dr. Agatha Biss. It's great to have you here for Python's Pit 2019 as one of our Pythons. So what made you want to become a Python and get involved?
I just really love the potential that these kids have, and you know, when I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of choices. We were sort of geared towards, you know, doctor, lawyer, accountant kind of thing, and there wasn't a lot of other opportunities, and now these kids have so much out there that's available to them. So I wanted to participate in really making sure that these kids have the ability to know that you can reach your dreams, you can create anything, and to be part of something like that is kind of a cool experience.
That's amazing. Yeah, sometimes you just need that extra positive affirmation to pursue something, right? And so thank you very much for being here. And if you had to give one piece of advice to a young entrepreneur in today's competitive society, what do you think it would be?
I think to really follow your dreams. You know, there's so many people around you that will tell you just to be average or, you know, relax or don't do that or that's too much of a target to hit or that's impossible. And I think that, you know, the world we live in today, I mean, if you think about what Steve Jobs said, you know, the crazy ones are the ones that change the world. Yeah. So dream big and think big, but that's really not enough. You still have to follow through with some action. So really commit and persevere because persistence is key in achieving anything that you dream about.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for your insight. Thanks so much for being a Python. And
thank you.
It's been great to have you with joining us this year. Pythons. Clearly, there is a demand for the Smart Boot. Glenn, what did you think of the presentation?
Interesting product, gentlemen. Thank you for your presentation. In my business, I have a lot of mechanics and I have a lot of school bus drivers, and slip, trip, and fall is a big concern to companies and corporations like mine. But what's the difference between your product? I mean, it's obviously very techno-savvy compared to just a good old pair of winter boots to keep people from slip, tripping, and falling. So I would ask, what's your typical consumer?
So our typical consumer, primary being the adults who would buy this product for their parents. And our indirect consumer would be the elderly who would be wearing this. Although it is applicable to, like you said, the workers and children for overprotective moms here and there. But the overall shoe is targeted to the elderly. This is because, as you said, the safety boot, it would prevent you from falling. But once you fall, the safety boot does nothing to really help you get up. Let's say you hit a rock while you fell down. You're done, right? If there's no one nearby, you don't have a chance. Luckily, with our shoe, there's a pulse detector built in. So let's say it detects that your pulse is going down, your heart rate is going up, or anything, it sees anything wrong, it calls the police. But you don't want to call the police all of a sudden, right? So before that, if it sees that you've just fallen and you're unable to get up after a minute or so, it decides to send a notification to anyone within a 500-meter radius.
So typical, the elderly is what your target market is?
Yeah.
Any comments?
How would you bring that to market? Like, how would you let people know about this product?
So we've done a lot of stuff with senior citizen homes and churches. This is to really get the word out there, right? To go and we went in and talked to the Church of Incarnation in Oakville, and we just we asked them, hey, what do you think of the product? This was part of our market research. Do you think the price? And just really trying to get the word out there. And then after, we would definitely try to sell it online and advertise through, for example, social media like Facebook and Instagram. So you guys, for example, let's say your parents might be slipping or falling, you can buy it for them. Other than that, we would also try to, once our business matures, we'd like to get into retail. And we definitely like to team up with organizations that are there to help the elderly. So that way we can go with them and just sell it even in person.
I had a question just around your production cost. You mentioned a per unit production cost of around $50. To me, it sounds like there's a lot of technology in this boot. How did you come to that pricing? How did you cost it out?
Yes, we actually got help from a few local engineering companies, and we realized that it would cost about $30 for all the technological aspects. Okay. So all the features built into it would cost about $30. And then the rest of the money, $20, would be for like the fabric, for everything related with the boot. So all the manufacturing costs with the boot itself would be $20, and then the technology would be about $30.
Because all the technology we're using is already made. We're not going out and making a technology, right? Or making technology. We're just putting it all together in one convenient boot.
Guys, I like the innovative thinking you've got going on. My concern is around just the style of the boot. It looks like a construction worker boot, right? I can't imagine my mom or my wife's mom just thinking of people that would need to wear the boots wearing this style of boot. So have you considered doing maybe like a smart insole or something so they can continue with their boot style that they like?
We haven't considered that, but the boot itself, this is just like for demonstration purposes. We will focus on design, as we said in the speech. Even with the prize money, we could use that to help improve the design, and we want it to be sleek. You might have seen, for example, some of our competitors with the necklaces that you push a button if you fall down. Those are ugly though, let's be honest, right? Would you like to wear those when you're older? No, we wouldn't either. And that's one of the things we had in mind when we did this. We said we wanted it to look like a normal shoe. So this would hopefully, when we try to expand our product, we can make this, it's a unisex model right now, but hopefully we can make one for males, make one exclusively for females, and that would decide more of the design. But again, our target is an elderly person at the end of the day, right? We understand that it's a fashion product, but the safety really helps, and they wouldn't care as much as we would.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a possibility of retrofitting that technology into another pair of shoes, or are you strictly just going with one design?
We've thought about trying to get the technology and just licensing it so you can put that in any shoes. But we thought like with the shoe markups, like you know how Timberlands and Uggs, all these brand names, they mark their products up so much just because of the brand name. So we're taking roughly the same amount, $200, but we're marking it up for something, well, useful, right? And that's why we thought the shoe would be better, it would be more profitable. And then we could expand it as well, right? With the shoe actually has built-in kinetic charging, so as you walk, it charges. But for brand expansion purposes, we could also get a wireless charger going, just like a pad. And you would just put it on like a shoe rack, and you'd be good to go.
You spoke about your target market being the elderly, and as soon as I saw the brief on your business and your product, the first thing that came to mind was there's so many individuals in Canada working in remote parts of the country, you know, people working on the oil sands up north. When they're alone in these particular settings, I think something like this could add a ton of value. Have you thought of market expansion in different areas, or potentially targeting a different starting point when you first go to the market?
That is one of our future ventures. Like, as our business expands, we're planning to make boots specifically for an industrial place.
Right.
So it would fit that place better. And then we could also expand it for, you know, boots for spring, so rain boots. So that is one of our ideas for future expansion. We'll definitely take that up in the future as our business grows.
You mentioned some competition, so I did a little research, and I noticed there's a firm out of the United States, Pittsburgh, that already has a boot, very similar to what you're talking about with the technology that you're talking about. How would you compete against them? They're already 5 years ahead of you.
So that would be direct, right? Well, our advertising and just going up to people, a lot of we see corporations and firms, they don't like to go home to home. They don't like to go to senior citizen homes. Like, okay, we'll pay like thousands of dollars for a TV ad. We have the passion, we have the drive to actually go to a senior citizen home, ask them, hey, what do you like about the product? What do you want to change? Stuff like that, right? And our technology, again, is very optimized. So it's not just one thing, which is the motion detector, right? They also, it has a timer into that. So did you get up after a minute? Or were you just falling down for a solid 5 minutes? That's bad, right? Or a pulse detector, which would let us know that if you're really needing an emergency help. And then it would also have the GPS system, which would let you let the police know where you are. So a lot of these things, and especially your passion and drive into the product itself, I feel like we could beat them easily.
Pythons, it seems that a made-in-Canada product compared to something like the one in Pittsburgh that you mentioned, Glenn, could do very well as a marketing technique for you guys if you put a big Canadian rubber stamp on the bottom of that shoe and said that we make this here for our people. That's something to definitely look at as well.
100%. And what else is Canada known for other than snow, right?
Yeah. Very true, very true.
When we first walked in, just cameras everywhere, people everywhere. It was pretty nervous. We were pretty nervous, but then as you get into it, you realize that the pythons are so nice, and then you just calm yourself, and then you just went on from there.
Yeah, for me it was just going in there, and I was like, my mouth's starting to dry up. Is my collar straight? Stuff like that, right? And then I started drinking water. And at the end of it, but by the end of it, I was like, okay, everything went well. It was smooth. They liked it. I liked what I did. It was good.